and welcome back to the One With My Friends podcast. I am your host, Assam. That over there is my Uncle Yasser.
What's up, everybody?
And that is our producer, Adam. Dubby, what's up?
What's good, guys?
How was y'all's Mother's Day weekend?
Man, Mother's Day was business as usual. So it was fun and exciting. Soccer season is officially a wrap. And that happened over Mother's Day weekend. So I have that to think about.
How did it wrap up?
The game ended 4-0, but in my mind, it ended 1-0. But it was a good it was a good season, and they ended up winning the championship. So it wasn't too hard of a loss.
Okay, that was a nice way to put it.
Yeah, well,
that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
I try to keep it positive, Moby.
Yeah.
Sorry for your loss.
Yes. Well, you know what's so good about losing is that next season is always time for redemption, and that's what I'm coming for. That's a theme. Next season is redemption. I love it.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Adam, how was your weekend? I know you've been driving a lot.
Yeah, it was good. I traveled 8 hours one way for Mother's Day, and then traveled another 8 back to Tennessee. I'm exhausted. Happy Mother's Day to all of the wonderful mothers out there. We love you. But I'm excited to go, guys. Let's do this.
Yeah. All right, let's do this. So let's get into this episode. We are going to be discussing episode 4, the one with George Stephanopoulos.
Woo!
And yeah, this episode aired on October 13, 1994. It was written by Alexa Jung and directed again by James Burrow. And in this episode, we will see Ross get depressed about a certain anniversary with his ex-wife, Carol. So the guys decide to take him to a hockey game, but they end up in an emergency room. Meanwhile, Rachel begins to melt down, and eventually Phoebe and Monica also melt down while they are enjoying their slumber party at Monica's apartment.
Nice. All right, so opening scene, this episode begins at Central Perk, where the group discusses what they would do if they were omnipotent for a day. Phoebe wishes for world peace and other good deeds, while Chandler wants to be omnipotent forever. Joey misinterprets omnipotent for impotent, leading to a funny misunderstanding. Moby, I thought this was a very fun opening scene to start off this episode.
Scene.
Didn't it seem like everybody was kind of struggling to keep a straight face?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. You could tell they enjoyed doing that scene.
Yeah. And especially Lisa Kudrow's face. Like there were a couple times I was looking at her and I was like, man, she's about to like crack at any moment now. Like she really held it off this episode.
Yeah. Do you remember what Phoebe what she said she wanted if she was omnipotent?
She wanted world peace, no more hungry people, good things for the rainforest, and bigger boobs. And she stole Ross's answer, by the way.
Yeah. Ross said you stole my answer.
By the way, do you know what omnipotent?
Omnipotent? Yeah, I looked it up. So
I had to look it up too.
Means, like the God has all the power. It's like the
pretty
power.
Much having unlimited powers.
Yeah, having unlimited power. And then omniscience is knowing everything.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. You took it a step further.
Yeah, we know. You always want to take it one extra step.
Right. Whereas Joey thought it was impotent, right?
Yeah.
And then what did Joey say? He's like, hey, if little Joey's dead, I've got no reason to live.
Yeah. And then
what did Ross say?
Ross is like trying to explain, no. Omnipotent. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry.
he's like, Ross, really? Are you serious? I'm so sorry. Man, this was a really good one of those, we've seen this kind of in the early episodes too, where there's like that classic misunderstanding. And, they've been pretty much writing on that for the last couple episodes, and it's good stuff. It's good writing. And it seems like with this scene and this opener, like the actors are finally settling into their friends' roles that you and I are accustomed to seeing and kind of accustomed to knowing. And I thought this episode In the recent episodes, we're picking up a little bit more. The episode is picking up a little bit more than the pilot, whereas the pilot was just a little bit slower. But now we're starting to see things really get going.
And to your point, actually, this is the first time that we see that Joey is actually really stupid. Like they've given like tiny little crumbs, but crumbs of clues. But now we know for sure. It's like, oh man, that dude is something wrong with him.
Yeah, that's a good call out, because in the first couple episodes, he was kind of like that friend who was like giving you the wise words and like giving you that good advice that you needed to hear in his own Joey way. But now we're seeing a little bit more of a dumbed down Joey. He's a lot funnier. I will say overall, this episode though, and I think we'll see it throughout these scenes, is Phoebe had a killer episode. She was on fire with like every one of her jokes. She was great and she delivered it.
Yeah. Speaking of which.
So this next scene, we're at Central Perk. Next, Ross and Monica watch Phoebe sleep at Central Perk. Phoebe wakes up explaining she didn't sleep well due to her grandmother's noisy, insecure, deaf boyfriend. Monica offers Phoebe a place to stay. Joey and Chandler arrive with hockey tickets for Ross's birthday, although Ross's birthday was months ago. Ross realizes it's the anniversary of when he and Carol first slept together, making him reluctant to go. Chandler convinces him to come out with the guys. Rachel excitedly shows her paycheck, but is disappointed by the deductions, and Rachel's friends visit, leading to a series of exciting screams and catch-ups. What did you think about this scene, Moby? There's a lot packed into this one.
There's a lot going on. Let's kind of start a little from the beginning.
Yeah.
Just Phoebe sleeping at the coffee house. Ross and Monica both couldn't believe it. They're like, how is she sleeping? And I was like, I understand, but there's people
she
like
must
that.
Be tired.
Yeah. Her grandma's keeping her up with all that sex.
Her grandmother, who's insecure and noisy with her new boyfriend, that's freaking hilarious.
Yeah. She's always got her and her grandma's stories are always hilarious. I guess it's like one of the first ones. Buckle up.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I like Joey counting the steps.
Yeah. How many steps?
I feel like that's something I probably would have done. Like, like you ever like not try to step on the cracks and like just but you do that when you're like little, and that's like I think they're really trying to show Joey's stupid. Like they're really trying to put that.
But but also kind of one of the guys too, because even you just now question, did you think that it was a little bit further, like Central Perk was a little bit further than the apartment? I mean, 97 steps, that's not that far.
Nah. Yeah, they always kind of say it's just downstairs.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I just assumed in my mind that was like maybe a block or two down but that's interesting. Yeah. And then what else do we find out about Ross? So Joey offers Ross tickets to the Rangers and Penguins game as a birthday gift, but Ross is like, my birthday was 7 months ago. You missed it. And if you backtrack, they tell you it's October 20th. So 7 months ago is March, which is the first of 3 times where Ross's birthday is mentioned, and they're all wrong every single time. Yeah, they never get Ross's birthday right.
This is the first time. So now it's in March, and we'll keep a tab on that.
And then here we start to see a character turn for Ross. We see him going from like fun and funny Ross to now like this depressed and annoying. It's like episode 1 Ross, and I really couldn't stand episode 1.
This is the worst episode for Ross. Like anybody that hates Ross, they point to this episode. He was so annoying. And
dude, not just that.
He does that a few episodes.
He does
in this series.
But dude, even this episode, you saw Joey and Chandler both yell at him at 2 different times.
Yeah,
like the one time in the next scene where they're outside and Joey's like, "What?" He kind of like yells at him, and then later on,
they try to be cool about it for a while. It's just towards the end they really like.
Got too much.
I don't blame them at all.
Yeah.
Also, why does Monica know that?
Why does Monica know what?
he goes, "Oh my God, it's October 20th," and she goes, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I was hoping you wouldn't remember."
Oh yeah, really? Why does
Why the hell does your sister know that?
right?
That
They
was
are
I don't even know the
weird.
date. How does your sister know? Like, that's crazy.
Well, I think because we find out later that Carol was
Oh,
his
why'd you tell your sister
first.
still?
That is kind of weird, and I get it. But they grew up together,
I don't care, bro. No, that's weird.
That is pushing some boundaries. They did
Yeah.
that a lot this episode. They pushed a lot of boundaries this episode.
Yeah. I do love that Ross didn't want to go, and he said the line. I think I'm gonna go home. And
You know what? I better pass on the game. I think I'm just going to go home and think about my ex-wife and her lesbian lover.
The hell with hockey. Let's all do that.
oh, dude,
Let's all go do that shit. What the hell are you doing watching that? Yeah.
I love Joey this episode. He cracked.
Oh man, yeah. They all were funny, except for Ross. Oof. And I feel like Monica kind of took a step back a little bit this episode when they kind of highlighted the other characters.
This wasn't a great killer episode. Rachel.
Yep. She gets. Yep.
Look
at the window. That's my name. Hi, it's me.
How happy she was so fun. It's like the first time most people get a job. It's probably like in high school or like in college. She just now got her first job, so seeing her like act like that was really funny to me,
dude.
until she saw them taxes.
Oh yeah, and then what she say? She said, "What is FICA?
Who's FICA?
Dude,
why are they taking my money?"
I started a new job 2 months ago, and I swear to God, I did the same thing. I looked at the pay stub. I said, "Who's FICA?" I did, and then when I saw this episode, I was like, "Oh shit, I'm not the only person who had that issue."
Yeah,
dude. Best part.
I have to ask Assam. Can we just talk about this for a second? Because you work in the industry. What do you think her paycheck looked like? This is in the 90s in New York.
Waitressing. So like,
what's her
with their minimum wages?
Probably.
I don't know. I mean, it is a coffee house, so maybe she's getting. It's not much.
Well, I mean, what do they do? They all pull out their wallets.
She can't afford nothing. Her lifestyle at all.
No, and that's why they all pulled out their wallet and just all pitched in, put in some money.
So funny. They're like trying to make. No, you could totally live off.
Yeah, you could totally live off this.
Yeah, and they're all like, "By the way, you did amazing today."
Dude, the funniest part in this whole scene is when Phoebe's like, "Oh, I remember when I got my first paycheck, there was a cave-in at the mine and 8 people were killed." And Monica's like, "You worked at a mine?" And Phoebe's like, "I worked at a Dairy Queen." Dude, I totally get it. It was just one of those things where you remember where you were when you saw the news. And I think there was a lot of that Phoebe like doing that. And it came across as like this ditzy thing, but she's actually quite clever and hilarious.
Yeah, 100%.
So how about when Rachel's friends, they visit and they start screaming about everything, and then Phoebe goes, "Oh, look at my elbows," and they start screaming.
Yeah. I love that. I just thought it's funny because you know Phoebe and Monica like did not like those girls.
No. But this little part with Rachel though, it's actually a big scene. It didn't really last very long, but we're going back to showing Rachel and her struggle, leaving the altar and then kind of carrying on. So I felt like Rachel's friends represented various accomplishments, highlighting Rachel's struggle. So Rachel's a waitress while her friends are achieving significant milestones. And I feel like this is building her character and setting her up for like redemption. You know, you got her friend who's like pregnant. You have a friend who got engaged, and then you got a friend who became a partner at her dad's. And like she's seeing them, and the next scene, not next, but in the upcoming scene, they're gonna sit down and they're gonna talk to her about all these things, and they're gonna make her feel shit about the decision she made to leave Barry at the altar.
Yeah.
All right, in the next scene, we're out in the streets of New York City. Joey, Chandler, Ross are walking down the street, kicking a can. Chandler and Joey pretend to commentate on a hockey game, but Ross is distracted, staring at a shop window, reminiscing about Carol. He sees boots similar to the ones Carol wore during an intimate moment, causing him to apologize for bringing it up. Joey tries to lighten the mood by pointing out a woman whose figure looks like Carol, but Ross's mood is still somber.
I'm fine.
Hey, that woman's got an ass like Carol's. What? Thought we were trying to find stuff.
Dude, Joey, like, what are you doing?
Hey, that woman has an ass like Carol. It's like, what?
Dude, why are you looking at Carol's ass?
I mean, it's
Dude,
Joey.
that's the question.
I thought that was so funny.
That was
He's
spot
just
on.
like so annoyed with Ross. He's like, all right, fine, let's play your stupid game. There you go.
Yeah, and he looks at Chandler. He's like, "What? I thought we were supposed to find stuff. I thought I did good." But can I just point out? Did you notice that she actually had a really nice ass? Can we just give, like the camera pointed right at it?
I got to look.
Yeah.
Also, I was thinking about Carol wearing those boots. I was like, I can see why Ross is a little hung up on that. Like, that sounds pretty hot. He's like,
especially season 1 Carol. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, especially episode 1 Carol.
Yeah, episode 1 Carol. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to cover here? There wasn't
Just
a whole
the
lot.
Ross whining was relentless.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad for Joey and Chandler because they
Joey
were
snapped.
trying to like, oh man, let him whine a little bit, but you could tell it's getting on their nerves. And I was
It is.
like,
They were even doing this thing where they were just kind of like walking off in front of him, just walking away from him because he was becoming a little too much. And then he was whining about the nectarines, and Joey's like, "What?" And he snapped at him. And Joey doesn't yell at anybody. Like, Joey's a sweetheart, you know. So you can see the tension building.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how they were headed to a hockey game, but they were playing soccer on the sidewalk?
And they were playing soccer, and they're using hockey players' names.
Yeah. That's
Yeah. Next, Rachel walks in with her friends Leslie, Kiki, and Joanne at Central Perk. They ask for gossip, and Kiki mentions the biggest news is Rachel dumping Barry at the altar. Joanne questions when Rachel will come home, but Rachel insists she's not returning and explains she's working at the coffee shop. She tries to justify her job by listing her duties, including writing specials, removing dead flowers, and placing chocolate blobbies on cookies. That sounds really good.
Yeah.
Leslie,
her mother didn't tell her about the chocolate blobbies.
No, which was messed up.
But she told her everything else.
And Leslie sarcastically notes that Rachel's mom didn't mention her blobbies. They looked, dude, I wanted some chocolate cookies after those. I almost ripped into the pantry.
Yeah, but Rachel made them. Do you really want them?
I felt really bad for Rachel here.
Me too.
You really start to just see her break down, or you start to see
questioning all her decisions.
They're questioning her life.
Yeah, and she's second guessing if she did it, if she did everything right or wrong.
Exactly. Yeah, which is kind of wild, especially if they're like former friends or friends they used to have, and they're sitting there questioning. They should be supportive. Yeah. Now that's the exact point that I wanted to make here and highlight is that I'd felt terrible for Rachel here.
Yeah, I also you can always relate when you do something that major.
Yeah.
How you're just like kind of wrestling in your mind, and that's just kind of where she's at. Like, did I make the right decision? I'm giving up all this.
Yeah.
They have, look at them. They're pregnant. They're getting married. They have a job, and I can't. I'm making nothing. FICA took all my money. Like, I really, really love this episode about Rachel. It's less about comedy. It's just about like her struggle,
real life.
Yeah, it's real life, and you're just like, God, yeah. And like now that you go through it, now that I'm older and I've been through like some of these things, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can really appreciate this. So I really enjoyed that.
And you can really appreciate the way they handle things. And I think the important thing is to understand is it's very important in life to have a good support group. It's hard to do it by yourself. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying go out there and make 5 other friends, because it's hard to find 5 genuine people who give a shit about you and your life. But you know, just having even a smaller support group, it helps to get through life.
Yeah.
Right in the next scene at the girl's apartment, Rachel arrives home to find Monica and Phoebe in pajamas, with Monica making a drink in the blender. Monica offers Rachel a tiki death punch, which Rachel eagerly drinks straight from the blender. Monica explains they planned a slumber party with trashy magazines, cookie dough, and Twister. Phoebe mentions she brought a game operation, but lost the tweezers. The phone rings and Monica answers. It's the Visa card company calling about unusual activity on Rachel's account. Rachel gets frustrated, venting about her recent struggles and with money and life. Monica tells the caller Rachel has left the building, and a miserable Rachel suggests they play Twister.
All right, so this one, I like the Tiki Death Punch.
Yeah.
What's in it? Rum. Okay. She
Done.
just put
That's
the
all you need to
straw
know.
straight into the blender. That was amazing. That just tells you where she's at right now.
What did you think when Monica said trashy magazines?
That's right. I actually
'Cause I had to go
written down.
Google
I was
that.
like, what does that mean? Does that mean like
Porn is what I
National
thought.
Enquirer? Oh, see,
thought
that's what we
porn.
did. Okay, but I was thinking that too. But then I was like, we're guys, so we're
Gonna think
I was like,
that.
I know we're gonna think like Playboys or something. I was like, I think to them it means like gossipy magazine.
It's gossip mag. I looked it up. It's
Yeah.
gossip magazines.
Okay, yeah. See, but I knew that's the first thing I thought of. I was like, damn.
First
what
thing,
they
I was
look
like, man, porn? Monica, really? Monica, my
That shows
respect
you
for
how
you has gone
different.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that shows me how different we think. But yeah, I put that down. I love the slumber party. I love that Phoebe's in a onesie. That just cracks me up.
I know. And she was on fire this scene too.
Yeah, yeah.
Her comment about losing tweezers for operation, but then still said, "Hey, we can prep the guy." That was hilarious.
I thought one of the funniest things was you have unusual activity on your Visa card.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not even using it. They're like, that's the unusual.
problem. Yeah.
That's why they're
But you know what that shows
calling,
us?
Huh?
It shows us that
She's
Rachel's
strong.
making good decisions.
Yeah.
She's living life within her means, even though she's not making a whole lot of money, and but she's not using her dad's credit card. That shows us that she's growing.
Yeah.
All right, so at the girls' apartment and at Madison Square Garden, these scenes combined. The guys are at the Madison Square Garden looking for their seats. Ross reminiscence about Carol, but notes they're not sitting together. At Monica and Rachel's apartment, Rachel feels down about her life choices, comparing herself to Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk. Phoebe cheers her up by explaining that just like Jack, Rachel has given up something valuable, but now has a world full of opportunities. Monica reassures her that everyone feels lost sometimes and that things will eventually come together. Back at the game, the guys are excited about the mood shifts when Ross gets hit in the face with the puck. Joey and Chandler cheer up when they realize they're on live TV. I think my favorite part, Moby, about the scene is the conversation between Rachel, Phoebe, and Monica, where Phoebe compares Rachel to Jack, as in Jack and the Beanstalk, and she's basically emphasizing that change, although it's scary, could lead to new and exciting opportunities. And I thought that was like, so far in these 4 episodes, that is like the best advice we've heard throughout this entire season so far. And it's like, and we're seeing that even though Phoebe comes off as a little quirky and weird, and they made her look really bad early on, she's actually quite clever and very smart and just gives great advice. And we're going to see that come back around later on at the end of this episode.
Yeah. It's good to have a friend like that.
Yeah.
One that thinks outside the box. So what about the guys at the Ranger game? Whenever they were getting mad at Ross, did you notice when they finally sat down that they put him by himself?
Oh, did they?
Yeah, he sits in the front and they go sit behind. I thought,
Okay.
I was like, yeah, no, there's no way they
Nobody's
going
gonna sit next to Ross.
Yeah, that was funny to me. Also, first time we hear Phoebe say floopy.
Floopy, yeah. And then Monica said unfloopy, and Phoebe was like, yeah, like that's a word, and that's not a word.
Hey, see, look
So
at
she,
Phoebe.
again, she's like on top
fire,
of it, dude. Phoebe's on fire, dude. One of my favorite parts of this scene is when Rachel's like, okay, but Phoebe, Jack gave up a cow. I gave up an orthodontist, and Phoebe is like, okay, yeah, see, Jack loved his cow.
Yeah, Jack did love the cow. Yeah,
he loved the cow.
yeah. Also, I
She's so
did
good.
love this. This was beautiful. This is the epitome of Friends to me.
Yeah.
Rachel said, but what if everything doesn't work out? And Phoebe's like, well,
Okay, but Monica, what if it doesn't come together? Phoebes? Well, because I don't like this question.
I don't have an answer for it, so I don't like it. How many times have you done that, Moby, where you get a question like, I'm just gonna walk away from this. I don't like
I'm
this.
tapping out. She just tapped out. She's like, no, this is too hard.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like this question. That cracked me up.
In the next scene, Chandler and Joey bring Ross to the emergency room after he gets hit in the face with the hockey puck. Chandler tries to get to the receptionist's attention, but she's on the phone complaining about a candy bar. The best part of this scene, although really short, is when Chandler talks to her and says, "Look, this is an emergency."
Listen, it's kind of an emergency. Well, I guess you'd know that or we'd be in the predicament room.
Bro, that was out of control funny.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
He was on top of his wits. Not as much as previous episodes, but he was on top of his wits.
Yeah, that woman was not nice.
Not nice.
Did you catch her name?
No, what is her name?
Sizemore.
No way. Is there? Oh, on her
On her thing, yeah.
I got it.
I did like how she said, "Any minute now." I was just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
like, oh, I hate her."
All right. At the slumber party back at Monica and Rachel's apartment continues. Rachel apologizes for bringing everyone down, and Monica admits she doesn't have a plan for her life. The pizza delivery arrives, but it's not what they ordered. It's meant for George Stephanopoulos, who lives across the street. Excited, Monica decides to keep the pizza. The girls use binoculars to spy on George, who is only wearing a towel. Phoebe mistakes him for Big Bird's best friend, but then spots a woman with him, leading to Monica's disappointment. This scene ends with Phoebe yelling at the woman taking the pizza.
I got to correct you. I don't think he lives there. I think he's hooking up with whoever lives there.
Oh, okay. Interesting. What makes you think that?
Well, I don't think he would be living in the
There.
same White House correspondent
Clinton.
living there. Come on.
By the way, did you know he's a real person who really was?
Yeah. I went and looked him
I
up.
had no idea.
Yeah. We were watching freaking
We were young.
Spider-Man and
Yeah. I don't know who Clinton advisor is. The only
Yeah,
thing I knew
yeah.
about Clinton is the stuff he did in the Oval Office. I didn't
Yeah.
know what was going on.
yeah. That's what we
But yeah,
all know.
bringing back the whole conversation again between Monica and Phoebe. Monica looks at Phoebe, is like, "Phoebe, do you have a plan?" And Phoebe is like, "I don't even have a plug."
I didn't mean to bring you down.
No, you were right. I don't have a plan.
Pizza guy.
Food. Phoebe,
What?
do you have a plan?
I don't even have a plan.
I don't even have a plot. Destroyed me. That is a sensational line.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was
Basically,
such a
I've
good
got
line. She's
nothing
like,
for you.
You have a plan? I don't even have a plug. But yeah, I love how Rachel got them all depressed, just
Yeah.
hitting them with reality, pretty much. But yeah, that was funny. The pizza delivery. I like Rachel, her slow. I just enjoyed her meltdown because like went from that, she went to the wine. Now she's at her whiny stage.
Yeah.
And it's just like after, you just had one of those days where everything bad keeps happening. And then now they got the pizza wrong. You're like, no, that's not what I ordered.
Right?
So
Everything
upset.
is going wrong.
Yeah, I love that about her this episode. She's like, that's not what we ordered.
Did you suddenly start craving pizza during this episode, or was it just
yeah,
me?
actually, when I watched it, I ate pizza later that night.
I was dying for some pizza while I was watching that.
Did you? Which one sounds better to you? The one the girls got, or the one that the guy, or the one that George ordered? So the girls ordered the fat-free crust with extra cheese.
Mm.
When George
This doesn't
got
make
the one
sense.
with mushroom, green pepper, and extra onion.
I like them both, but I would have to go with George's just because I don't know about the fat-free crust.
Right?
I love
That
pizza
sounds like
crust
that. Well, how are you going to eat fat-free crust on a pizza?
with extra cheese.
Like, come on, that's just like, don't even eat the pizza. You're disrespecting pizza at that point.
Yeah,
I-
we should get our viewers to tell us in the comment section which pizza they would prefer.
I love how Yasser thinks we have viewers.
We have us. We're going to listen to them.
Your wife
And our families, so we're going to
Yeah.
force them to
I
listen
can
to it.
vote.
Yeah, Adam could vote.
Yeah.
I just want to call out at the end when Phoebe yelled, "Hey, that's not for you, bitch!" Dude, that was hilarious. Like, that pizza was not for her. Don't you put your hands on it?
Yeah, I love how she's like, oh.
Like, I can't believe I just said that. Yeah, I'm so naughty.
Was that
So
the
back-
first time we heard any cast member curse?
Nah, this can't be.
Ooh, I want to
But
say it
maybe.
can't be, but it could be.
It's a good question.
Ooh, that is a good question. Let's pull up the scripts and run a quick model.
Yeah.
Back at the emergency room, Joey is gesturing to show hockey pucks hitting foreheads while trying to pass time. Chandler, noticing the tension between Ross and Joey, approaches the receptionist again. Frustrated by the wait, he points out that people with less severe issues have been seen before Ross. Did you know? So I did a little digging with this scene. Matt LeBlanc said that one of his favorite all-time Joey moments is in this scene where he's childishly taking the puck and like acting like it's hitting his forehead. He said that was one of his all-time favorite Joey moments.
That's the only. This whole scene was I
Just
didn't
for
really
that.
care for it. That's all I cared about. That's the only thing I wrote down. I just like him just doing this. Like Joey killed me this episode. That
And
was
you saw the way that Ross looked at him.
Yeah, Ross looking at him like you disgust me. But Joey's just like
so mad.
You know, Joey's mind's like, how do you not see that? And then also probably like, wow.
God, that really hurt.
That's the only thing I cared about in that whole scene. Yeah. Oh man, that killed me.
The girls are out on the balcony speculating about George Stephanopoulos, with Rachel bluntly suggesting he's having sex, while Monica and Phoebe imagine him as shy but wild. Meanwhile, at the emergency room, Ross continues reminiscing about his first night with Carol, revealing it was also his first time ever. Chandler and Joey, tired of Ross's fixation, realized there were better ways to spend the night. Back at the balcony, the girls share secrets and argue, but they are also distracted when they finally spot George. They excitedly urge him to drop his towel, ending in a collective wow when he almost does. I think the scene in the emergency room where Chandler goes off on Ross was a little bit intense. Yeah. You've never seen Chandler just kind of stand up and go off on somebody like that.
I don't blame Chandler at all. I don't blame him at all, man. They've been trying. He's like, can I get some medication? Some pain medication
we all felt the same way.
Yeah.
We all felt like, dude, like, get over it.
Yeah, he was. I'm sorry. I can't. Ross was so annoying this episode.
Yep. And then I think Joey said the realest thing probably this entire episode. He's like, hockey was a big mistake. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of stuff we could have done tonight. Knowing Joey, he probably wanted to go to a strip club.
Strip club.
100%. Like he wanted to go.
100%. Also, with the girls on the balcony talking about how George probably has sex or whatever. Yeah. I thought it was so funny when Monica, she was like, yeah, I think he's shy. And then after you open him up, he's just a preppy animal. And the way she like turns and then the noise that Rachel makes.
So, what do you think George is like?
I think he's shy.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think you have to draw him out. And then you do, he's a preppy animal.
I was just like, dang, girls.
There, Rachel.
Yeah. They were
alcohol got these girls
hey, that rum
revved up.
Yeah, I gotta say the girls, like the guys' scenes, it's just Ross whining most of the time. It's just like the
girls killed it.
Joey pretty much said the girls killed this episode.
Yeah,
they were funny, they were hilarious. They were later on when we get to when they're like going at each other.
Yeah.
Like spilling secrets. I love that.
Those are the best.
I thought they definitely carried this episode.
Yep.
So can we talk a little bit about this George guy? This real guy.
George. Let's get to George.
So can I ask? This guy's real guy. Everybody knows this, right?
Yeah.
I mean, do you get just a confidence boost? I mean, like, what are there rumors started about you after this episode? I mean, they're complimenting his penis. They're talking about his lovemaking. I mean, if I was this George guy and I'm walking into the next political meeting or something, I'm like, hey guys, you check out episode 4, season 1 of I mean, right?
That's
like
so
if
true.
they were
That is
hyping this guy up,
probably
I'd be feeling myself.
Yeah.
100%. He probably got a lot of dates after that.
That's some real game right there.
Yeah. Also, they cut out in the DVDs, they actually talk about Ross, Chandler, and Joey about how they are having sex or what they're like when they're having sex. That's what the girl, because if you notice, they cut it like in this scene, like Rachel's like, stop, and she like hits Monica and they're laughing, but it's a little out of context. That's because they're talking about like all that, which is also kind of weird because they're talking about Ross in front of Monica. Again. But they cut all that out and they just put it just about George in this one. So that's a little context difference with the DVD extra scenes. Also, can we get into them spilling the beans? I always love these scenes. Phoebe,
the beans?
what did
Oh, yeah.
Monica do to Phoebe?
Well, Phoebe slept with Monica's ex.
Before that, hold on. Before that,
What did she do?
She made her eat something with meat in it. It's supposed to be eggplant or whatever. Yeah. Goose. I think it was goose.
The goose, yeah.
Yeah. So then Phoebe's like, all right, I guess I don't feel bad for sleeping with Jason Hurley. And she's like, after how long? Just a couple hours. It's like, dang it. That's savage. And then
Phoebe.
Rachel, Tommy Rollerson's Valentine was in her locker was actually from Rachel, not from Tommy. Because she was a big girl. This is what Rachel said.
Which is interesting because at this point we don't know that Monica was big, right?
Yeah, we do. We learned last.
We learned that. Okay.
Yeah. And Rachel peed herself in 7th grade.
I still do it.
Yeah, Monica
Just
made
kidding.
me laugh.
Monica made me laugh. Did you notice that as Rachel was, she was leaning against the ladder and she stood up and the pillow went backwards?
Yeah.
Dude, I watched that. I was watching with my wife. I was like, I bet you anything that wasn't supposed to happen, because she kind of looked at it. She's like, oh, well, didn't have much to say about it. And she went on researching it. It found out it was impromptu. It did just kind of fall by itself, which is great because later on in the end, it comes back. The pillow comes back, which is amazing how they tied it.
That dude, shout out to that actor. Tiniest part, he killed it. Because he looked so annoyed, like,
here's your pillow. But how did he know? How did he know it was their pillow? Like, it must have happened before, right? It just can't be the first time.
That, or also he's probably like, that's Monica and Rachel's apartment. I'm gonna go take this pillow back.
Right, exactly.
When Chandler answers, he's probably like, that's probably what he's more upset about. Like, dang, I had this whole thing I was gonna say to them.
Also, what floor is their apartment on?
So it's a little messed up, and this is why they change. This is a good question. If you notice, Chandler's apartment is 4 and Monica and Rachel's is 5. But you can see there's stairs coming up. So later on in the series, they change it to 19 and 20.
Yep.
Because
Which
they realize
implies
you can have stairs and then have it 4 and 5, because that makes it seem like it's on the first floor. So we don't know exactly, but I'm guessing either the 2nd or 3rd.
Something like that.
It's probably be my guess.
Yeah.
So the pillow was no real threat.
No.
From second story.
It shouldn't be. Although when they're out there, it seems so high.
It seems high, yeah.
Yeah.
Yet again, it's not really New York City, but here we are.
Yeah. Exactly.
Cool. Anything else we wanted to talk about here before we move on to the final scene?
I do want to say one thing. This goes back to my earlier point. The girls outside on the balcony, they are urging George to drop the towel. When
Get
he
naked.
does, they are wowed.
Yeah.
So imagine that.
Yeah.
I want 3 beautiful young women to see me and be like, holy shit.
I'm starting to question what trashy magazines really were, according to Monica.
Right?
You never know. We're going to need Marta Kaufman and David Bright to answer that one for us.
David Crane.
Sure.
Kevin Bright. I did that last time. I said Kevin Crane or something.
That takes 1 point away from Yasser in trivia.
No, y'all try. Y'all working against me. I'm still up 3-0.
Yeah.
In the final scene, Joey and Chandler are in the emergency room discussing Ross's limited sexual experience. Chandler jokes about it not being romantic, but rather odd. Ross re-enters with his nose banged up and sarcastically throws forms at the receptionist. Chandler quirks that Ross looks like the character from Silence of the Lambs. Despite Ross's frustration, Chandler tries to convince him that they had fun. Ross asks about the hockey puck, learning that a kid has it. Ross attempts to retrieve it, leading to a struggle with the kid. The receptionist intervenes, but the puck flies out of Ross's grasp and accidentally knocks her out. Ross then admits, indeed, it was fun.
When Joey asks, can you believe that he only slept with one woman, and Chandler's like doing his best, like, yeah, I think it's nice. It's it's
Sweet.
cute, whatever. He's like, really? He's like, no, the guy's a freak.
And I judge him. He's a freak, and I judge him.
Yeah.
Dude, I cried laughing when Ross looked at the kid and said, "Yeah, well, I'm rubber and you're glue," and then he stopped.
I can't.
He's like, I can't do this with this kid right now. In the post-credit scene, Joey and the girls are playing Twister while Ross spins the wheel, with Phoebe bending over, catching Joey's appreciative stare. The phone rings and Chandler answers, saying it's the Visa card people for Rachel. Rachel takes the phone and Chandler joins the Twister game in her place. Rachel reassures the caller that she's fine, mentioning that she has magic beans. I loved this final scene.
Yeah,
this
it was
amazing.
Perfect scene from beginning to end. Beginning with whoever decided to start with the from down Rachel's legs all the way up. I appreciate that. That was
they had the camera pointing right at Rachel's ass. Let's just call it what it is.
Like, let's just be honest. I'm
not going to shy away from that.
I was like, great opening scene, opening to the scene. They were playing Twister. That was funny to me.
Yeah.
Actually, you mentioned Joey looking at Ross or looking at
Phoebe.
Behind Phoebe.
Yeah.
They cut out the part where he's like, he whispers to Ross. That's why if you notice, like Ross kind of looks at Joey a little bit. They cut out the part where, or it's in the extended scenes in the DVDs where Joey's like, "Hey Ross, if you come take my spot, you can have number 2 right now."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's something like that, and that's why Ross like looks at him like that, like, dude, be quiet.
For our audience, just so they know, like, so there's a difference between the DVD versions and then the versions that we're watching. I'm using HBO Max. I'm not sure what platform you're watching
Max,
for.
yeah.
It's also, so the version that we're watching, which on HBO Max, is different from the DVD. So we're not necessarily watching the DVD version, but we'll come out and let you know, hey, this is something that you may have missed, because I don't know what our audience is watching.
I used to watch the DVDs religiously, especially when my first year in college. I didn't have.
How'd you get those DVDs, by the way?
I bought a few of them, and I stole some of them from you.
He stole some of them.
I probably 5-finger discount at your apartment whenever
it happens.
You stay there. You're like, you can stay, and I'd watch Friends, and then I'd pack up the DVD. I'm like, oh man, I got 1 and 2. I don't have 3 or 6. Let me just take those. And thank you.
Okay.
I love you.
You're welcome. I think that I love the final touch here in the scene is with Rachel at the end saying magic bean. She has her magic beans, implying that her new life is exactly where it needs to be, and just showing once again that Phoebe's much cleverer, much smarter than what we were led to believe early on.
Yeah.
Awesome episode, man. This was great. I laughed my ass off this episode. This is awesome.
I enjoyed it. I wrote down some final thoughts on this episode. I thought the majority of this episode dealt with the growth of Rachel and her maturity, and just her struggling to try to come along with her decisions and her consequences. And I think she's finally like, okay, now she's like, now she really left that old life behind. It came back, it surprised her, and it made her think about everything. But then at the end, she's like, no, this is my path now. So I thought that was really cool.
I see a lot of myself in Rachel in this episode.
Me too. That's why I really like this episode for it. It's just like, I think we've all just kind of been there before. But and then I already told y'all earlier, the guy's storyline I thought was kind of weak this episode, and I thought the girls really carried the entire episode. But yeah, so for this episode, I'm gonna give it a 7.3.
Oh,
yeah. Go ahead, Yoss.
Oh no, hey man, 7.3 is a great rating. That's exactly what I put down. So I think this is the first time we are lining up. So I actually have a set, but I don't have a favorite male and female this week. I actually have 2 favorite females. I'm sorry, the guys. I agree with you. The guys are going to take a back seat.
Yeah,
they had some funny moments, but the girls, they carried the episode. My first favorite in this one is just Phoebe was on fire this episode.
Yeah.
And I give it to Rachel for just her storyline, just overcoming everything. And then at the end, having her magic beans solid performance by those two. And yeah, 7.3. Great episode.
I got you. I'm gonna stick to the rules, and I'm gonna pick a guy and a girl. That's
All right.
nice. You did switch it up.
I'm bending it a little bit today.
Yeah, I got you. No, that's fun.
Minus half a point for Yasser.
No,
for sure.
Wow, they're still coming after me.
But yeah, I'm gonna stick to the rules. I'm gonna go with the girls. I'm gonna go with Rachel. I agree. Phoebe was amazing. She was hilarious this episode, but Rachel carried the episode. I thought the whole storyline was about her. I don't know. I really, it really resonated with me. So I'm gonna go with Rachel on this one. And for the guys, yeah, it's tough. I wish I could do like a negative friends and pick Ross.
Yeah.
It really got on my nerves. But I'm gonna go with Joey. I just thought this was like his coming out episode, really, for him. You got to see more of him. We're gonna this is kind of the Joey that we're gonna get used to. I just thought like the puck was hilarious. Him trying to get it, him messing with it. Just some of the funny, like the Carol's ass that cracked me up. That was probably the hardest. Him and Phoebe made me laugh a lot this episode. So yeah, I do feel bad for the Feedster. She's honorary mention.
Ooh.
But yeah, so I'm gonna go with Joey and Rachel with this episode.
Nice. You know, this episode was so good. I'm actually looking forward to the next one. Do you know anything about the next episode?
The next episode, I know that it's going to be season or episode 5, and it's the one with the East laundry detergent, I believe.
The one with, say it again, because I think you're cutting out a little bit.
The one with the Eastern laundry detergent, Eastern German laundry detergent, Eastern German laundry.
That one.
With what's it called? Weissteiger or something like that. Yeah, you do.
Oh, he said
with Rachel and Ross doing laundry.
Oh, they're doing laundry. Oh, that's a good one.
She's like, "What about my delicates?" And he's like, "Oh, you don't want to look at her."
He doesn't want to look. That's another building. They're building Rachel. There's gonna be a lot of building of Rachel in that episode too, and overcoming, new opportunities and new things. That's awesome. This was so good. Like I said, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. We had a blast, and we thank y'all for coming. And like we said, we're going to see y'all next week for episode 5. So join us then, and we'll see you later. Yasser?
Guys, cue the outro.